It's 2:07 in the morning. The house is quiet in that particular way that only exists at night. No traffic, no voices, just the soft hum of a fridge somewhere and your own heartbeat. And then it happens, that familiar signal, the bladder call. Not loud, not dramatic, just insistent, like a hand on your shoulder that won't let go. So you do what you've always done. You sit up, you swing your legs over the side of the bed, you stand, and for a split second, the room tilts. Not because you're weak, not because you're careless, not because you're getting old. Because at 2 a.m., your body is not built for sudden movement. And in that tilted second, a shoe catches the edge of a rug. A toe finds a charging cable. A knee doesn't lift quite high enough. A hand reaches for a wall that isn't where you thought it was. And then the sound no one forgets. A fall. Some people call this a nighttime bathroom trip. But for millions of adults over 60, it's something else entirely. It's a trap. Not a dramatic one, not a conspiracy. A quiet chain of events that starts with a simple urge to pee and ends in things no one expects until they live through them. Falls, hip fractures, head injuries, hospital stays, and in the background, often unnoticed, the same hidden drivers that raise the risk of stroke. Tonight, I want to walk you through that chain, slowly, clearly, humanly. Because if you wake up to pee at night, you are not alone, and you are not powerless. And if you stay with me until the end, you'll have a practical plan you can start tonight. Not next month, not when you have time. Tonight. Now a quick note. I'm going to speak in a medical, prescriptive way because clarity matters here. But this is education, not personal medical care. If you change medications, do it with your clinician. And if you have sudden weakness, facial droop, trouble speaking, crushing chest pain, or severe shortness of breath, that is not a podcast problem. That is an emergency. All right, let's begin with the lie most people have been taught to believe. The lie is that nocturia, waking to urinate at night, is just the bladder being annoying. So people focus on the bladder. They stop drinking water. They feel ashamed. They joke about it. They accept it as fate. But nocturia is often not a bladder problem. It is a whole body signal, a symptom with many possible causes. And in older adults, it often points to a mix of sleep changes, blood pressure regulation changes, medication timing, blood sugar patterns, breathing patterns at night, fluid shifting in the legs, and the simple physics of getting up in the dark. Here is the hidden chain in plain language. First, your sleep gets interrupted. Not once, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times. That means you spend less time in deep sleep. Deep sleep is where your brain does its housekeeping. Your blood pressure normally dips, your nervous system resets, your balance system recalibrates. When that deep sleep gets broken repeatedly, the body becomes a little more irritable. Stress hormones run higher. Blood pressure tends to creep up over time. Glucose control often worsens. Inflammation rises. That's not drama, that's physiology. Second, the moment you wake, you are not fully online. Your brain is in a fog state. That fog is not laziness, it's chemistry. Your reaction time is slower. Your judgment is dulled. Your eyes don't adapt to darkness as quickly, especially if you have cataracts, dry eyes, or reduced contrast sensitivity, which become more common with age. Third, when you stand up quickly, your blood pressure can drop. This is called orthostatic hypotension. The name sounds technical, but the experience is simple. You stand, and the blood doesn't move up to the brain fast enough, so you feel lightheaded, unsteady, or briefly weak. At 2 p.m., you might catch yourself. At 2 a.m., half asleep, you might not. Fourth, the environment is against you. Hallways are dark, floors are slippery, rugs curl, pets wander. You might not use your glasses. You might rush because you're afraid you won't make it in time. Fifth, if you fall, it is rarely just a bruise after 60. Bone density changes, reflexes change, hip fractures happen, wrist fractures happen, head impacts happen, and a fall is not only a physical injury, it often becomes a turning point. Fear of falling leads to less movement. Less movement leads to weaker legs and poorer balance. That creates more risk. It's a loop. And now, the part people don't talk about. The same conditions that drive repeated nighttime urination often overlap with the conditions that drive stroke risk. Not because peeing causes a stroke, but because the body systems involved are the same: blood pressure control, sleep quality, oxygen levels at night, blood sugar, heart rhythm, vascular health. So if you're waking to pee at night, I want you to hear this as clearly as possible. This is not a small nuisance. It's a signal worth respecting. Now let's talk about what actually causes the 2 a.m. urge, because that is where the power is. There are a few usual suspects, and most people have more than one. One is simply timing of fluids. If most of your water happens after dinner, your kidneys will do their job after dinner. That's not failure. That's scheduling. The solution is not dehydration. The solution is timing. We'll come back to that. Another is caffeine, even earlier in the day. Many people over 60 metabolize caffeine more slowly. That afternoon coffee can still be biologically active at midnight. Caffeine can also irritate the bladder in some people. The result is lighter sleep and more urgency. Alcohol is another. Alcohol reduces a hormone that normally helps you hold on to water at night, so you produce more urine. It also fragments sleep, so you wake more easily. 2 hits at once. Another big one is salt. A salty dinner pulls water into the bloodstream. Your body eventually wants to get rid of that extra fluid. Often that happens at night. Some people notice they wake up puffy, or their rings feel tight. That can be part of the same pattern. But one of the most overlooked drivers, and one of the most important for stroke risk, is sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is not just snoring. It's repeated pauses or shallow breathing during sleep. Oxygen levels dip. The body panics a little, even if you don't fully wake up. That stress response raises blood pressure over time. It strains the heart, and it triggers the release of a hormone that makes you urinate more. That's why some people with sleep apnea wake to pee multiple times a night. If you snore loudly, if you wake with a dry mouth, if you feel unrefreshed in the morning, if you have morning headaches, if you doze off in the afternoon without meaning to, if your partner has ever noticed pauses in breathing, that is not something to brush off. Treating sleep apnea can reduce nocturia for some people and is a serious lever for cardiovascular risk. Another driver is blood sugar. When glucose runs high, your kidneys dump extra sugar into urine, and water follows it. People often notice thirst, more urination, and nighttime trips. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's the early warning before someone gets a formal diabetes diagnosis. Then there is the fluid shift problem. Many adults accumulate fluid in the legs during the day, especially if they sit a lot, stand a lot, have varicose veins, or have heart or kidney issues. Gravity pulls fluid down. At night, when you lie flat, that fluid re-enters the bloodstream. Your kidneys see extra volume and say, "We should get rid of this." So you pee, sometimes a lot. If your ankles are swollen in the evening and less swollen in the morning, that pattern matters. Medication timing matters too. Diuretics, water pills, are meant to make you urinate. If taken too late, they will do exactly that at night. Some blood pressure medications can contribute indirectly as well. This is not a reason to stop medication. It is a reason to talk about timing. Then, there are bladder-specific causes. Overactive bladder, prostate enlargement, pelvic floor changes, urinary tract infections, irritation from acidic foods, and constipation pressing on the bladder. Yes, constipation. A full bowel can push on the bladder and create urgency and incomplete emptying. So what do we do with all of this? We do 2 things at the same time. We reduce the risk tonight, and we reduce the number of awakenings over the next few weeks. First, tonight, safety. If you only take one thing from this episode, take this. At night, urgency makes you rush. Rushing is the enemy. When you wake, do not snap upright and launch yourself toward the bathroom like the bed is on fire. Sit up slowly. Put both feet on the floor. Take one calm breath. Let your eyes adjust. Then stand and pause for a moment before you take your first step. This is not weakness. This is smart physiology. You are giving your blood pressure a second to stabilize. If you feel lightheaded, sit back down. No heroics, no "I'll push through." That is how people fall. Now the environment. Make the route idiot-proof. Not because you are an idiot, because humans at 2 a.m. are temporarily stupid. That's the point. Have a soft nightlight, not a harsh overhead light that blinds you and wakes you fully, and not total darkness. A gentle pathway light, changes everything. Remove loose rugs or tape them down. Clear cables, move clutter, keep pets out of the path if you can. If you use glasses, consider keeping them in the same place every night, within reach. If you have dizziness, consider a cane within reach as well.